The Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of Botswana, Honorable Panduskela Lamani, and the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Boemo, the Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee in Botswana, the Clerk of the National Assembly, Ms. Babradi Thabo, all dignitaries here present from various ministries and across the Sadc continent and beyond, good morning. Distinguished colleagues and participants, in my capacity as the Secretary General of the Sadc Parliamentary Forum, I wish to thank you for this opportunity to present the update on the Sadc Model Law on Public Financial Management in the margins of the 14th Annual Conference of Sadcopac. Indeed, the Sadc Parliamentary Forum has over the years been working closely in collaboration with Sadcopac. We have recently entered into a Memorandum of Understanding, and we are confident that with the Sadc Model Law on Public Financial Management, joint and fruitful initiatives between the Sadc Parliamentary Forum and Sadcopac will substantially heighten. To start with, I'd like to say a few words about the Sadc Parliamentary Forum in view of heightening the forum's relevance in enhancing public financial management across the Sadc region. As you may be aware, the forum is composed of 15 member parliaments and is constituted of democratically elected representatives which are appointed to the forum's plenary assembly by each parliament. The last member to join the forum in December 2019 was the Parliament of Madagascar. Arrangements are also currently being made for the Union of the Comoros to join the Sadc Parliamentary Forum family. In accordance with the Forum Strategic Plan of 2019 and to 2023, the vision of the Sadc Parliamentary Forum is to act as the flag bearer of democratization and socio-economic development in the Sadc region. In this respect, the forum's membership came to the realization that there can be no sustainable socio-economic development without a strong democratic base which is founded on good governance and accountability through sound public financial management. In terms of an update, I'm pleased to share that the Sadc Model on Public Financial Management was adopted by the 51st Plenary Assembly Session of the Sadc Parliamentary Forum, which took place between the 7th and the 15th of July 2022 in Lilongwe, Malawi. This followed ample stakeholder consultations, and some of you present here today would also remember that consultations were also held with the Sadcopac and with national parliaments. As cited in the explanatory notes of the model law, the overall objective of the model law is, and I quote, to ensure that the Sadc national parliaments are enabled to conduct their legislative budgetary oversight functions for public financial management in a way that is transparent, efficient, and responsive to the needs of Sadc citizens, close quotes. In other words, the model law is to empower national parliaments, including the Public Accounts Committee, to monitor public financial management by using parliamentary functions and committees of parliament. The model law is thus an instrumental aid to the Public Accounts Committee, which can be used to adequately promote public financial management. Having said this, I wish to turn to some of the key features of the Sadc model law, which will undoubtedly interest participants today. First, you will find in the model law that it directly empowers public accounts committees. In fact, a whole part of the Sadc model law on public financial management is dedicated to ensuring that public accounts committees function efficiently. Secondly, the model law promotes performance-based budgets with clear key performance indicators. Clear KPIs are indeed the cornerstone of efficient public financial management, and it is well known that this diligence starts with the budget process. Thirdly, the model law promotes reporting on international commitments taken by Sadc member states through the budget process. In other words, the budgets have to be open and transparent as to how international commitments taken are being promoted through the budgeted funds. Fourthly, the model law promotes a measure of parliamentary control on the debt ceiling of government, which should be less than 60% of the gross domestic product. While the model law goes beyond many other features, my presentation will be focused on giving further explanations on these four features, especially as these features are mostly relevant to public accounts committees across the Sadc region. Across our Sadc member states, it was revealed that on many instances, public accounts committees could only review, or in fact were made only to review, the report of the Auditor General, thus leaving out the auditing of other public bodies, departments, or statutory bodies, which are also publicly funded. Thus, the model law came to correct this anomaly. Section 52 of the model law ensures that Public Accounts Committee can also review the reports of other departments and public authorities apart from the report of the Auditor General, thus leaving no loophole in the public financial management system. This goes from the principle that every cent or penny of public money must be accountable and should be audited. The model law also leaves the option open for member states to include state-owned enterprises under the ambit of the Public Accounts Committee, depending on the circumstances, especially because state-owned enterprises may also be publicly funded to a large extent. Furthermore, the Public Accounts Committee is supported by a complaint system which allows information to be given by third parties, that is found in Section 53 of the model law, and a whistleblowing policy, Section 55, which also allows maladministration in public finance to be reported in a confidential setup. To facilitate enforcement, the Public Accounts Committee is also vested with powers which enable it to call attendees formally to give oral or written evidence. This is found in Section 54, and to liaise with enforcing or regulatory agencies in order to report offenses which have been uncovered during its deliberations. Clearly, when we look at promoting performance-based budgets, public accounts committees must be concerned with ensuring that public expenditure occurs in the manner which has been duly approved by Parliament. Performance-based budgets with clear key performance indicators thus give an indication as to how public expenditure is to occur. Public budgeting is thus a necessary feature of modern budgets and is referred to in the explanatory notes of the model law. PBB is an additional tool which allows public accounts committees to adequately monitor public finance. The model law alludes to the fact that the PBB, or performance-based budgets, requirements can be expressed through different means by member states. It can be in law, it can be an administrative requirement which is diligently implemented, or it can form part of arrangements between line ministries and the Ministry of Finance. Hence, the Public Accounts Committees are effectively able to monitor if ministries and departments have complied with the PBB requirements. We now move to the third feature, which it interests Public Accounts Committees across SADC. As you are aware, international commitments made by member states, including regional treaties and conventions, declarations and ministerial commitments, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals and Africa Agenda 2063, to cite but a few. It is no secret that international commitments are scarcely reported through budgets. Yet international commitments are linked to the budget if ever any progress is to be made. Budgets usually contain budget lines which follow the government's program, but there is a lack of transparency or information about how the budget lines assist to fulfill international commitments, such as gender equality, universal health coverage, the eradication of child marriages, including issues of budget ceilings. Such commitments are then left unattended and are revived only after 3 to 5 years, when reporting has to be conducted at the international, regional level or to the relevant treaty-based bodies. Thus, the model law proposes the submission of statements which accompany the budget and which gives information on responsiveness of the budget to the identified commitments. This is reflected under Section 66 of the model law. In this respect, the model law is pushing for progressive domestication of both international regional commitments and thus echoes the Vienna Convention of the Law of Treaties, which provide that treaties should be made in good faith under the principle of pacta sunt servanda. Public Accounts Committees can also choose to monitor compliance with such statements, which would be a legal requirement whenever budgets are passed in parliaments. As you are aware, certainly the debt ceiling is a crucial and key feature to assess a country's financial stability. Indeed, some countries' debt ceiling in the world has exceeded 200 to 300% of GDP, causing them to be declared bankrupt, which basically means that they are not deemed trustworthy to enter or honor any international contract of goods and services. The issue concerning public debt is that to date, governments elected by a majority can enter into contracts worth several billions, thus binding successive governments over 20 to 30 years. You will note from Section 91 to 93 of the model law that it provides for public accounts committees to exercise control over the public debt in case it exceeds or appears to exceed the debt ceiling, which is to be 60%. This debt ceiling is in fact to be reduced to 50% within a period of 5 years from the coming into operation of the section once it is domesticated. Interestingly, Public Accounts Committees Section 93, subsection 2 provides that the Public Accounts Committee shall publish and maintain a strategy called the Public Debt Parliamentary Oversight Strategy for A. Monitoring the accrual of public debt, B. Overseeing the management and servicing of public debt, and making recommendations for the reduction and control of public debt. This legal provision thus places the Public Accounts Committee at the heart of public debt management. The model law is a tool for you to heighten the efficiency and performance of public accounts committees. Public accounts committees should also play a key role in advocating for the model law to be promptly domesticated. With these words, I come to the end of my presentation, and I thank you warmly for your attention. My colleague, Mrs. Yapoka Mungandi, is among you in your midst. She's a chartered accountant and will be able to take on board any questions that you find critical for her to be able to respond to. I thank you and have a great day.